Welcome everybody. Another edition of the Centre Circle podcast, a Euro edition. Lots to discuss. Lots has happened since we last recorded. We've had two semi-finals. We now know who the finalists are. So today you've got myself, John,
Daz,
and Binzi.
Lovely. How's everyone doing?
Well, I'm doing
Happy,
good.
mate. I'm happy.
Look at him.
All good.
Look at these lot. Yeah, look. So, it comes to no surprise. We're recording the day after the second semi-final. So we'll be talking about England's victory over the Netherlands. And we'll also cover Spain's victory over France and all the bits and bobs that come with that. But of course, we've got to start with England. England ended up winning the game 2-1 with a contentious penalty from Harry Kane. Amazing finish from Watkins. And both of those were preceded by a Xavi Simmons rocket. So, guys, let's take this from the top. Let's even take it from before the top. Going into the game, lots of chat about Southgate. Bins and I had some choice words for him on Monday. His team selection, his lack of game management. He's not picking the right players. He's putting the wrong players in the wrong position. He's not picking the best team. He's picking his best 11. Daz, what have you got to say about the preamble to the game and Gareth Southgate?
In regards to Southgate, obviously most of the tournament they've not played well. So for everyone to be saying he needs to change it, he needs to do X, Y, and Z, I think that's legitimate because they have not been playing well. They've just been getting by. But it's a results industry, innit? So at the moment, while they're getting the results, it's hard to really get on him because they're still getting the results. So everyone knew there's going to become a point where they're going to have to step it up. They're going to have to be playing better to then get through these later rounds. And to be fair to him, I think the semi-final was their best performance. It was definitely their best performance of the competition, and it seems like they are improving. It seems like they are improving at the right time. So I think we've got to be fair to him and say he's done the job. He was just scraping by, but now they're in the final. So no one's going to remember how you got there. Everyone's going to remember that you're in the final. And I think his in-game management, i.e. substitutions, was a lot better. This game. Because to be honest, I didn't really see Watkins coming on. I didn't see what.
Well, it's funny. At that time, the commentators were just starting to say, Gareth, this is why you get criticised. We're getting to that point now. You need to do something. You need to change something. But if I wind it back a little bit to begin the game, Key, game starts. It's all this pressure. Everyone's looking to Daz's point for improved play, right? Be a bit more on the front foot. Don't be as boring as defensive. Xavi Simmons scores 7 minutes in. At that point, what are you thinking? How are you feeling? And also, we need to talk about Pickford on that one there as well.
So I think their goal came against run of play. I think England started the game really well. I think Holland, I wouldn't say Holland were shell-shocked, but it took a while for their players to kind of get into the game. And essentially, they only scored through like a mistake from Rice. It wasn't like they outplayed us in terms of possession-wise. It was Rice lost control of the ball, Simmons nicked in and hit a shot that kind of no one was expecting him to hit. Pickford, I think, looking at the replay, you think he maybe could have done a bit better, but that doesn't take any credit away from the strike.
No, it was a great strike.
Yeah, it was a great strike.
It was a clean strike.
But, I still think when England went behind, it was against the run of play. And even after they scored, I still think England kind of dominated possession. They didn't. I thought they'd be shell-shocked. They didn't. They still kind of went on the front foot. And for when they did get the penalty, I think they were justified for getting back in the game at that point.
Yeah, and it seemed the way they set up Bins, Holland was struggling in the midfield. They were really struggling in the midfield, and even though it was supposed to be two wing backs, Saka was effectively playing as a right wing forward. So again, talk of Gareth and his setup, etc. From the off, it was pretty positive, pretty. They were on the front foot, to use the cliche.
Yeah, I think they've got used to the formation. I think it kind of complements the players that they have. I think the big difference to it, as we mentioned before, was mainly being introduced into the system, and I think it's just given them a lot healthier balance. I think it also kind of gave Foden. It was a much better game by Foden as well. A kind of a sense of purpose, a role, an understanding of what he was trying to do. And for the first 45, it was a very good game from him. He looked like the most likely to get the equaliser or set up a goal. And then it kind of petered out. But overall, like I said, it was very attacking. It was very direct, and there was a lot of purpose in their play for this for that first half anyway, and for parts of the second half.
So we start the game. They're 1-0 down, but as Keith says, they're pushing on. They're getting into the game, and the team progressing to the box. Saka's coming off the right, causing havoc. The ball falls to Harry Kane. It bounces up. He lines up to take a volley, to take a shot, and Dumfries, I think it is. Dumfries goes to block the shot, which seems to be the thing that everyone wants to talk about. And there's a coming together, which ends up being a penalty. Now I need to know from everyone here now who thinks it's a penalty or not. For those of you who haven't seen it, again, I don't know if you've been on Mars for the last 2 days, but as Kane is taking this shot, his foot is probably hip height. Dumfries' foot meets his foot at that height with his studs up, so his studs go into Kane's instep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Much rage and debate in the groups of WhatsApp and on the timelines of X and everywhere else. So I want to go to our resident referee, Daz. Talk to me.
It's one of those ones. It's soft, but by the letter of the law, I think it is a foul. I think it's given as a foul everywhere else
I
on the
agree.
pitch.
I agree.
By the letter, because that happens a lot the other way around. The striker is usually the one that leaves their foot there, and when a defender's going to clear the ball, a striker tries to block it. It usually misses it, and then the defender sort of kicks the striker's leg, but he's put his foot up. So it really determines on how far you're away from the play. If Kane hits it and then hits his foot straight after, it's a foul. If he hits it and then there's a couple of seconds, then he hits his foot, then you can say he had time to make adjustments. But yeah, by the letter of the law, it is a foul.
I agree. Adrian?
You know what? I think there's two things here. By the letter of the law, I'm just used to when I've played football, when I've watched other games, you see that that situation happen so many times, and it's not given. And it didn't look like the biggest of contact. However, it got given. So I was shocked when I saw it. I was like, "Whoa, that's given." I was like, "Okay." So, but England made their own luck. From the pressure that they were piling on Holland, they made the referee make that decision. But I'm just used to those. You got the shot off. That was your advantage. Goal kick, and that's what I'm used to seeing and being part of when I play football.
So, but challenge to that, I think I said this to you yesterday, right? We've seen it a million times in midfield. Someone does the same thing with a pass, maybe he's doing a diagonal, whatever, makes the pass, a man comes in late. If the pass doesn't make its intended destination or is intercepted, the ref blows and brings it back.
Yeah.
So he's taking the shot. It's gone over the bar. It's a foul, penalty.
100%. But I think I'm so used to they kind of saying that was your advantage. As you know, Darryl, when you give an advantage, if they make a bad pass, you don't pull it back 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10, you say, well, he made a bad pass. but you got the advantage. You know, if someone
But-
dribbles, he gets clipped, and he still dribbles, and then he makes the pass. He's off balance a little bit, but he had time to rectify his balance. Sometimes you don't.
What is your? Can I just ask? What is your advantage if the shot's gone over the bar, like Kane's has gone over the bar? What advantage has he gained?
I know there's none, but usually it's deemed as, oh, you got your shot off, and your execution was poor. Why it went over the bar, but you still got a shot away. You know. But I do agree. But I'm saying when I've played football and when I've seen it in other games, in Prem, in the Liga, in Champions League, they're like, well, you got your shot off. It's not a foul. How often have you seen that call being made? But again, like usually you see that against the fullbacks when a fullback is clipped last minute by the striker closing them down. That's when it's a free kick. Other areas of the pitch is kind of up in the air, 50-50. So just a bit.
And what do you say to people? I'm not asking Daz this question. To everyone does referees, what do you say to people that there should be a little bit more latitude in the penalty area? You know, when we made the argument about it, and again, I struggle with it, but we heard Gary Neville saying that on in kind of punditry at half time, saying, you know, it's a bad day when a defender can't block a shot. You can block the shot. How you decide to block the shot is the problem, right?
Yeah.
If you want to block the shot with your leg up in the air, with your studs showing, you run a risk. If the ball hits your leg, then goes out, you're good. You ran the risk, it didn't pay off. It's a penalty.
Yeah, and that's the thing I think people are forgetting. Like, he got none of the ball. Like he only got Kane. Like, when it happened in real time, I said to my son, I was like, oh, that's a penalty. Like, just because Kane got the strike and Dumfries caught him like maybe like a second and a half afterwards. And I was like, oh, that's a penalty. And it's like you say, anywhere else on the pitch, that's just giving a free kick, everyone just plays on. I was listening to another pod earlier, and one of the people on there was saying that maybe there should be more indirect free kicks in the penalty area. And I was like, no, I don't like where this is going, or even a suggestion of that for something that's not like a stonewall penalty, just more of an accidental free kick kind of thing. And I was like, no, that's not something that you want to explore. But yeah, I think everything was right. I think Kane got the shot off. Dumfries caught him late. His studs were at like a side angle. They weren't like studs down or anything. And he caught him. And I think you just got to kind of deal with the consequences. And I think more of those incidences should be given as penalties where, you know, like now we're kind of used to the new handball law where you can say, 5 years ago that wouldn't have been a handball, but it is now. I think now we've got to kind of get in the area where those kind of free kicks outside of the pitch should be given as penalties if they happen in the penalty box.
And one thing I will say, that type of challenge is dangerous because if that's ever happened to you, that is very painful. When you kick and someone's foot is there and you have to kick their foot afterwards, that is very painful.
Well, So I think I've seen lots of things today. England have had their luck, etc. This, that. No, like
it's about time England had some luck in a tournament.
No, but I don't think that's. I don't think that's necessarily the luck. I've seen other chances that opposition teams have missed and not taken, etc. That's the luck. This was a foul for me. This was a foul. So anyway, Harry Kane steps up, of course, clinical as always. Great penalty into the corner. It's 1-1 now, and England are full speed.
Sorry, Jay, just to go back, that was his first penalty in a tournament since the miss against France.
Really?
Remember, he didn't take a penalty
the other night because he'd already been subbed.
The other night, did he? So yeah, there's a bit of pressure on him. So I know there was a bit of pressure on Saka when he took his penalty the other night, but again, a bit of pressure on Kane.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, when I think about Kane, I don't even think about pressure, right? That penalty miss against France, it might be the only time I can imagine him coming under pressure internationally. As a Spurs player, I could do a whole podcast on just that. But yeah, and also I heard another stat. Harry Kane is the record goal scorer for the Euros in the knockout stages or something. I had a commentator said no one has scored more goals in the knockout stages in the Euros than him.
Yeah.
I
Good
think
stat.
that's slightly skewed. Was it Ukraine? Did he score a hat trick or something against
Yeah,
Ukraine? And
yeah.
I think that's where that is signing.
They all count, man.
Yeah. But it
Well,
was.
That's what, who was the German top
He's
goal
had
scorer
the.
in
He's had the.
was it
I think he's
Closer?
benefited from the new format with lesser teams getting through, teams that
yeah,
are coming third
yeah.
and stuff like that, and then you getting those goals in the last 16.
Well, he hasn't got the stat that matters yet, which is a winner's medal. A winner's medal. So yeah, look, it's 1-1 at that point, and in my mind, it's what 18 minutes in. Holland are still a little bit upset. They're a little bit shell shocked, and then England start pressing on. They start pushing on. It's patterns of
Hell,
play. Then we have the offside goal.
I know, but before then, we had Foden doing his jinky majinky, cleared off the
Oh
line
yes, of course,
in the
yes.
first half. Yeah.
Yes, we're Kobe Manu again, and I'm gonna come to him. Yeah. Once we talk for the game, I'm coming to Mr. Manu, yeah, because that guy. So yeah, we had that chance where Kobe Manu slipped Phil Foden in on the right hand side of the box. It's a short pass, but the weight of it, and there's lots of players
Yeah,
that
just
don't make
right.
that pass
Perfectly
properly.
timed.
Yeah,
Perfectly
perfectly timed.
timed.
Phil Foden switches the ball quickly from the left to his right foot. The commentators were really excited about that piece of skill. And then he has the ball cleared off the line. I actually thought he could have literally just put his foot through that entirely. Like, do you know what I mean? Massive
Yeah,
power.
it's more of a P roll, weren't it?
Yeah, but it was a warning. It was a warning to Netherlands at that point. And I think it's probably a good point to go on to Manu. At that point, he was everywhere. Between him and Foden, was everywhere. Manu was dropping deep, picking up the ball, progressing it well. Or he'd kind of end up in that. It kind of split the opposition half in threes. It was Rice, opposition, Manu in between the lines, and then Foden floating around. It was really good. He never wasted the ball. He might not have always made the best choice, but he always made a choice that kept possession.
Yeah.
But he wasn't afraid to go forward. And yeah, I think it was a great performance for someone so young. And he must have less than 10 England caps at this point, or just about 10.
Oh,
Right?
no, definitely less than 10, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
He's
his first
played.
call ups was for the
all this season, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah,
He-
definitely less than 10.
And
Yeah, what I was impressed with him is that nothing phased him yesterday. He was like he was breaking up Holland play. He was winning the ball back. He was progressive. Those games where you're like, oh, I want the ball, give me the ball, kind of thing. And
it's my job to take the ball. I'll take it.
And he's playing with established international players. He's been in and around the England squad for kind of 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And he just looked one of the elder statesmen in that first half. Like, that was one of the best first half performances I've seen from any England player in a very long time.
Yeah, no, it was good. And I know composure is an overused word in football, but he is very calm. But I think what I like about him the most is that he's not afraid to try or do the things he needs to do at that time. So even that little skill he did on the right hand side of the box where he's kind of dragged it back, then flicked it to Foden. He wasn't even being fancy. At that moment in time, that's the one thing I can do to get it to Foden. Or I could play safe and turn and slow it down and give someone else. He said, no, I'm going to do this and it's going to come off. So yeah, he's definitely one for the future if they leave him alone and let him grow. But he was a key part of that game. Sorry, that's gone.
No, I was just going to say on the back of that, that's him just playing normally. That's what he does week in, week out. He's not doing anything extra. That's just how he plays.
Yeah, no, agreed. Adrian, your views on kind of that passage following the England penalty and Manu's playing that and Foden?
Yeah, I called Manu, right? Remember I called that.
All right.
I said he was going to make.
You can have that one.
Praise.
You can have that one.
I said he was going to make the squad, but you know what it is with him, and it's something that you can't teach. That you talk about composure, but it's something you can't teach is decisions. And it's like he knows when to play it first time, when to take the touch. I think in that game he only made, for me, one bad choice when he tried to do the reverse pass to Harry Kane when he should have started it out wide. Into the box. But other than that, everything else was forward, 1-2, holds on to it. So very composed. And like you said, for me, like I mentioned before, Foden, him and Foden were linking up really well. Foden was just picking up loads of dangerous pockets all over. He was given the license to roam. The only thing I didn't like about, and it wasn't even Foden's fault, was the commentators on how much they were just praising every single thing that Foden did. I was like, for real? Like, they're talking about standard, like everyone does that, but
they were bigging him up differently.
The Foden amplification is mad. Him doing something and another player doing something is two different volumes. It's two different volumes. But Phil Foden, to be fair to him, a lot of stuff that's come his way. I'm not going to say it's not his fault, because you're put on the pitch, you're put in a position, you can still do what you need to do and affect the game. But players have positions for a reason. Players get used to playing in a certain way for 60 games of the season.
Yeah.
If you turn up at Euros, you got to do something completely different. It can have an effect. So he's turned up. It's an important game. It's semi-final. And I think it wasn't quite Man City Foden, but maybe it was a cousin of Man City Foden that we saw. We saw in the England game yesterday, because, again, he was picking up the ball in pockets. He was causing them a lot of trouble. He, got himself in dangerous positions. He had the other shot that hit the outside of the post. He was really affecting the game, and that's kind of the Phil Foden everyone's been waiting to see in the England shirt. But Gareth kind of just needed to unlock that, put him in the right place to unlock that. So yeah, I think happy for him. Hopefully, that's now a platform for him to go on and do that on Sunday. But then got to half time. Oh, sorry, actually, we then had the offside goal I talked about.
Just on the first half, on the last point on the first half, England were brilliant, but I must say, I've got to pump the brakes a little bit. I thought Netherlands were very, very naive in their setup. I think they were almost made themselves the perfect opponent to make England look so good. To play two in midfield
after the game,
to play two in midfield and give England all the ball and make all the space for Foden, Mainu, and everything. They always had a spare man. So I thought Netherlands were like that. To be for Koeman, he's got to look at himself and be like, he got it totally wrong. I knew he was going to change it at half time because he had to. Because just all England,
to be fair, his hand was kind of forced, didn't it, with Depay going off? And then he made the
then he made the change. He would have changed it anyway. I'd agree. But he was forced. But I think to set up like that in the semi-final, I think is pretty bad, and he gave the initiative to England.
Yeah, I was surprised he set up that way, and Gareth's not exactly inconsistent, is he? You know he's gonna pick. You know what kind of style he's gonna go for, and I think rather than him not paying attention, I actually, Koeman probably thought, having two in midfield, there was an overload he could create somewhere else that would exploit a weakness of England's, and it really did not work out that way at all. There were a couple of transitions where, it looked a bit dangerous, but nothing material.
And I think that's kind of echoing what Daz was saying as well, was even though that Holland's Netherlands formation didn't help them, England's press wasn't as great as people thought it was, because they had out, but like you said, John, the overload that they thought they were going to have in like on the right or the left never really materialized. And even though they had the out, it soon got nullified quite quickly by the defense stepping up quite high and stuff like that. But you can only play what's in front of you, and they capitalized. And actually, you saw. I think this performance is going to give them a lot more confidence for the final, because they saw that they could play, especially with this formation. And to be fair, they made Kieran Trippier look like he was like the new Cafu. Like at some point, he was that far forward. I was like, oh, okay.
And that's another thing. We've talked about the left side, and almost playing Trippier there basically gives up all the attacking threat on that side for the other team. And you still got dominated. And to be fair, again, Trippier, he definitely was pushing up a lot higher this time. He was trying to create the balance on that side. So, effectively pushing them, trying to pin them back. He did it a lot more. Was it enough to be an actual threat? Not regularly enough, and, having conversations in the group and saying, he brings on Luke Shaw, it makes a massive difference as well. So it's already good. Bring on Luke Shaw, that kind of certifies their left side. So to have that kind of, I don't want to say advantage, but weak spot on that side, that you still get dominated. it wasn't a good day at the office for them at all. But we get to halftime. He changes things, and actually, the change helps them massively in the sense of just stemming the flow of attack and being under pressure. They didn't do too much with it, unless you guys can remember a spell. So they have a better spell of possession and kind of probably put a little bit of a pause on England, made Jude Bellingham a little bit irrelevant out on the kind of the left hand side, but they didn't do much with it in terms of attacking.
No, not at all. And I think, like you said, the whole change kind of was to stem England rather than to put them on the front foot. And I think they had a shot on target from Van Dijk from a cross that came in, and then someone else had a long range effort that Pickford pushed around the post. But other than that, I don't think there was any other shots from the Netherlands in the second half. So even though they made a change and the change kind of quelled England's attacking kind of fortitude, it didn't really put Holland in a position to go on and win the game. Like I wasn't worried, if that makes sense. I was like, you can understand that England's threat's been nullified a little bit, but in the same token, I wasn't being like, oh, yeah, Holland are going to create something in a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
exactly.
yeah.
I agree. So then that change happens. So Luke Shaw does come on. Holland made their changes. It's better. It's a bit more stable in that respect. So you now get to the point where we're all watching, saying, "Okay, come on, Gareth, come on." Bellingham's losing the ball, being ineffective. He's kind of saying, actually, could he bring on Gordon on that side? Could he sacrifice some of the positives of the formation to cause a problem speed-wise or pace-wise in a different part of the pitch? You know, all this stuff. And we're all watching, and then he finally changes it on the 81st minute. So, fair play to him. But, come on, man. 81st minute.
Yeah,
I
thought it would have been done maybe like 5 minutes earlier. And to his
even
credit,
that would have been too late, bro, I think. No.
to his
Yeah, I
credit,
think about 10 minutes
took off
earlier. I think
Kane.
70, I would have said.
65,
Yeah.
70, yeah.
He took off Kane again. Like Kane wasn't as effective in the second half as he was in the first. I think a lot of people kind of overstated his first half performance.
I agree.
It was okay. It wasn't amazing, but took him off. Fair enough. Watkins came on. The second change, I would have kept on Foden for Bellingham. I don't think Bellingham had a good game at all, to be honest, even in the first half compared to how the rest of the England players were.
The only thing I would say on that, though, is as much as he wasn't great with the ball, I don't know if you can have Cole, if you can have Palmer and Foden on the pitch at the same time. And when you haven't got the ball, you're going to feel that big time. So maybe there was an element of actually, whilst Bellingham's not doing great with the ball, at least defensively, there's some presence. He's going to do some stuff on the other side of the
that's
ball.
a fair assessment.
Because at first I was thinking, hold on, but in
One thing about Bellingham, he really suffers the most from that Trippier factor on the left-hand side because he's next to him inside. So I think he suffers the most from that.
Yeah, agreed.
From that imbalance on that side.
Agreed. And sorry, Keith, just back to your Harry Kane thing. I don't think he's fit, man. I don't think he's 100% fit.
Oh, 100, nowhere near. Nowhere near. For the whole tournament.
I don't think he's taking him off because all of a sudden now he's Gareth Guardiola. I just think
he's managing his minutes, isn't it?
No, he's just like, listen, I can't do anymore. The medical team are saying to him, listen, we've pushed the barrier. If you leave him on, he'll play the whole 90, and Gareth's just taking him off. So I definitely think on that. Sorry, Biz, I think you were going to say something.
Like, with Bellingham, I think he's a goal threat at the moment. Like, Foden can't buy a goal, love no money at this moment in time. And, like, when you saw him come off, you could see the pressure on him. Like, he put his head in his hands. Like, disappointed. I think he's feeling that element of pressure to get a goal for his performance. But with Harry Kane, nothing's sticking. He's not even winning like the little jewels with his centre back. I don't do a 1-2. I don't think he even completed a proper 1-2 or a set. I think there was one point late in the first half where I think Foden rolled it to him and just needed to set him back. He couldn't get back to him. The guy just nicked it off him, just like watching him on the floor and played it out. I was like, so Kane, he's been like hugely disappointing, but I think it's just based on the goal threat and the experience that he brings to the team while he's continually starting and staying on for so long at this moment in time. But I haven't been impressed by him one bit.
With Kane, he's definitely not fit, not been fit for the whole tournament.
Agreed.
The thing that's really irking me about his performance is is that you're keeping him on because you think, oh, he can get you a goal. The guy's not in the box. He's not in the box. Saka's going down the wing, crossing it, and the geezer's nowhere near. He wants to play DM.
Yeah, before Saka, I think it might have been before Saka scored. He got to the byline really good, cut it back, and there was no one in the box. And like I saw a freeze frame, and Kane was about 5 yards outside the box, and I'm just like,
what's going on?
Get it.
Unreal. And it even got to the point that offside goal, the way the move happened, Saka actually left the ball so he could be the one in the box. And that's what created the space because the defenders didn't know who to follow. But it almost got to that point, keeper was like, well, I'm going to go in there. You do that, I'm going to go in there. Otherwise, there's not going to be anyone else in there. But I even remember one passenger plays, picked up the ball on the left-hand side. He's about 5 yards away from the left back. And he's passing the ball across goal to John Stones. I'm like, what are you doing there? If you're not fit, just stay up there. That's the case.
Exactly.
And then we'll use your shooting and all of that. But he's Harry Kane, record goals. He's at that point where he kind of, Gareth it ain't broke, don't fix it type vibes. I mean, I think it is broke. He's not fit. But yeah, it is frustrating. And again, without nitpicking, you've gone through. But that's where I'm like, okay, you know that. Change the game a little bit, bring on different attributes. Get Ollie Watkins a little bit earlier to tire those defenders out. Do you know what I mean? And he demonstrated with that finish that actually you weren't going to lose much from the finishing side. You know, if you want to get physical presence on and trouble Van Dijk, etc., get Tony on, let them do that battle. So that's the only thing with Southgate. He will get you. He's proven. He's done 4 tournaments now. Semi-final. You know, what is it now? This is 3 semi-finals and 2 finals. But that extra bit we talk about, that's what stops him from winning, in my opinion. So hopefully he changes that. On Sunday, and these are some of the most reckless substitutions we've seen him make. They're not even reckless, but they're reckless for him.
Yeah, they are.
Do you know what I mean? And yeah, Cole Palmer come on, Ollie Watkins came on, 81st minute. I'm like, okay, fine. With the injury time these days, they'll get a good 14 minutes, probably 15 minutes to try and affect the game. And then Ollie Watkins goes through assist from Cole Palmer, and I was saying to Daz off mic before, I'm just thinking, cut that back, just cut it back, just keep the ball, cut it back, and before I know it, the side of the net's bulging. I'm like, what?
But that's the Watkins we saw at Villa, innit? Like I know exactly. I was of the same mindset of like hold it, wait for someone to come into the box and lay it off or something, one of those. But when you're confident, they're the kind of shots that you take and.
When you're confident and you've not had that much opportunity, what have you got to lose? It's the 91st minute. I'm shooting.
Yeah, just do it, and it was a great finish.
Mate, laser, wonderful finish.
That's the only place he could have scored, in it. Like that's it, and he executed it very well.
Ollie Watkins, this is my official apology. I will never talk rubbish about you again
until the season starts. But
nah, bro, that goal alone.
He's there.
Bro, let me contrast it. Yeah, this is so bad. But think about scoring that goal from that kind of angle, that kind of finish at that time. And think about someone like Lukaku and a clutch finish. I can't remember the last time he did a clutch finish like that, of that kind of technical level. So I'm not saying anything about it. He can score 10 goals this season. I'm not saying a word about it. He's got my respect now. That finish was world class.
That was
crazy because there wasn't even much danger. When he got the ball, if I'm Netherlands, I'm thinking, okay,
defenders showing him out wide.
Covered. Yeah, we got that covered. It was so shocking. But that's his type of finish. If he watch Aston Villa, he scores that type of goal quite a lot. So, and just to exemplify our point about Kane, he doesn't score that goal. Kane doesn't even make that run to get the ball there.
Or he makes it.
Kane would have went back towards Carl Palmer. It would have been coming back to Palmer.
Yeah. He makes the ball and gets to the ball. He shielded it, but he gets there so slowly. The angle's closed. He's got to go back.
He doesn't score that goal. Not at all.
No, it's true.
Yeah, and the first touch was great, isn't it? Like, we were talking about the first touch. Set himself. Defender wasn't close. Cost him.
He was close, weren't he? I just think he just... The touch.
You can't fault the defender. I don't think you can fault anybody in that situation.
You can fault the defender.
What did he do?
I think he relaxed a bit too much, thinking there was no danger. Because as a defender, he could have not made his legs be out like that. He could have, but he kind of let Watkins get half a yard, and then that's when you put your legs out when you're trying to make that yard up.
So you're saying he was basically thinking what I was thinking. Actually, he's not going to shoot from here. He's going to have to take pass it
He was
back or
thinking
hold
there's
it
no
up.
danger. Yeah, that's what I was thinking the same thing as well.
Yeah, because even if you look at the replay, there's an angle from behind the goal.
Yeah, I saw it.
When he turned, Virgil van Dijk is looking at him, and he kind of just relaxes a little bit, like he kind of slows up as if, oh yeah, like nothing's going to happen here. 2 seconds later, the ball's in the back of the net.
Virgil was at fault for that, a little bit at fault for that goal as well. That's the lane was open because he weren't in position.
But for me,
he worked it back.
Normal for him.
I can't blame. I just think it was a very good finish because for the defender, he's looked. I've covered the angle. The goalkeeper's got a good position. He's not going to squeeze it past the both of us.
Yeah, he's got to go across goal.
Yeah,
and the room to go across goal from here is postage stamp, which
and that's it. And that's what it was. And I think we've got to just appreciate a good finish. And sometimes we can't blame a defender or the goalkeeper because for them they're looking at the angle. Yep, angle's covered. Yep, we've got that. And it just went in that exact space where there was nowhere else that they could cover it. So I think, and like you said, Keith, it was a world class finish because I know if that was Messi, Suarez, Ronaldo, we're just talking about it and just like the intelligence and the IQ and you know, again, he was my surprise player of the year. Remember, and the season.
All right. I'm gonna tell the people about your Raheem Sterling call. You know, just relax.
We're right here. We're talking about this year.
Okay, all right, relax. Yeah? Just relax. I'll tell you what, though. This is a random one, but I love it when players score, especially strikers. Yeah, and even they're so shocked they don't even have to celebrate. Like,
he was like,
because obviously instinctively in the moment he's just doing. He muscle memory doing what he's trained to do, and when he's got it, he's like, "Oh, I've scored." And he said he put a goal, and you know, even the sliders have hot. He's just like, I think I'm supposed to slide. I think this is what I'm supposed to do when you score a goal like this. And I love seeing that, man, because it was just like there's so much joy. And obviously he's done the, I don't want to call it the Jamie Vardy journey, but I think I saw today, you know, 10 years ago he was playing non-league football.
Yeah.
And now he's scoring, you know, to put England in the final of a major tournament. I mean,
you got to give there's a little credit to Gareth because I thought he wasn't even going to use Oli at all. I thought
same.
I thought he was the go-to guy because Tony came on the last 2 games, and there was something I heard, and I don't know. I think it's true. They were saying that Gareth played to the team, the 1966 team, and spoke about how everyone's valuable in this team and everyone's got a role. Look,
because Hurst only got in the team because what's his name? Greaves got injured in the semi-final, and they had no subs back then, didn't it? So,
what do you mean they had no subs back then?
In '66, there were no substitutes.
What?
You couldn't make a sub.
Just 11 players just play for 9 minutes.
Yeah, so you had a squad, but yeah, you couldn't make any subs.
To be honest, at the pace they played, then that was probably fine. I didn't even know that.
On the Gareth point, though, like I know there's been a lot of people saying, "Oh, he's vindicated now, and we should have doubted him, etc." I'm still not buying into it.
I know.
I'm not saying like,
what you're not buying into specifically, though.
That the fact that he's been vindicated for England getting to the final. You've got to think we played 6 games. We've only won 2 in 90 minutes out of those 6 games. And one of the games that went to extra time, we were very fortunate to go to extra time. Like I think I've said on here before, Gareth has kind of changed the culture of the England squad. Like it's a lot more personal. I think they engage with the media a lot better now. I think even though they've had a bit of media scrutiny this tournament, it hasn't been as bad as previous England squads. But I still think his tactical man management, even if he wins the tournament on Sunday, I think he should leave because I think this would be his peak. Like there'd be nowhere else for him to go, and I don't think he could take this into another tournament. That's just my personal.
Why did you say that, though, Keith? Why did you say that?
Just because if you look at the way we played, like we played a good 45 minutes against Slovenia was our first game.
Serbia.
Sorry, we played a good 45 minutes against Serbia, and we played a good 45 minutes yesterday. Aside from that, how much collective minutes have we played in those 5 other games put together?
So what you're saying is not sustainable. What they're
No, not at all.
doing.
Not at all.
But
Not at
one
all.
thing I will say about him, look at his record. We're saying it's not sustainable, but he's done 4 tournaments and it's an excellent record because
But
he's won
again,
more knockout games than every other England manager put together.
So
you know what? I hear that, but you've got to look at who. If you look at who Spain have played and look at who we've played, put the records next to each other,
As Adrian
and
said
look at who we
yesterday,
played.
earlier on, you can only beat what's in front of you.
Yeah, but we're struggling. We're struggling to
He's
beat
done
these
it
teams.
though. But he's done it.
So I actually think that point about his record supports Keith's point because there's only so long you can keep doing this, right? Like in my opinion. And secondly, we've seen international football goes in cycles, right? So the England squad now, probably what skill, capability, talent wise, it's probably the best I've ever seen it. Even in Euro '96 squad with Gazan on them, like, they were good, but not. We didn't have the. I don't think we had the level of player we've got now in every position. Probably this is the best squad since then. Let me just say that, right?
Yeah.
Go on, because the Scholes, Gerrard, and all them lot. For every
But they were
Scholes and Gerrard,
worldies.
I can give you the other players in that. I saw an England game and Ashley Young was playing, blood. So like I don't think the level is exactly the same. Is we've not had this level of player for a long time collectively in all positions, right? So I think that the criticism level at Gareth is about how he's done it, not what he's done. I don't think anyone is saying he's done rubbish for England, etc. What people are saying is the way the team played isn't great, right? The way you're using the talent that's at your disposal could be better, right? And my personal opinion is, I don't know if he can keep doing this and getting by. And I think he'll get another contract. There's already rumors that he's going to get another 2 years, right? But do I think someone with a slightly different approach, a slightly more progressive approach, could do more with this group of players? Yes.
Yeah, I
Could
agree.
they dominate and win games and have a higher likelihood of being able to overcome top-seeded opposition? Yes. And we're going to see this on Sunday. This is why I wanted to come to as well, because now we're going to see them play a well-organized, talented team that has an identity, that is front foot, etc. And that, for me, is going to be the vindication of Gareth Southgate's approach or not. And the last thing I'll say on him is, to be fair to him, he did shed some of his skin in the game yesterday, right? He did the subs. He's changed shape mid-tournament, right? He's done a few things, but I agree with Keith. I just think if we want to, it goes back to my thing. What did I say about club managers, right? You don't have to be doing poorly to get moved on. So if you now say you got this squad, you got the Cole Palmers coming through, you got Bellingham at the beginning of his career, Saka, all these people. I'm even thinking ahead of when Harry Kane goes. I think the England team's going to be dangerous, differently up front.
It's a great crop of players to take forward, and it's about having the right person. Now, we should have won the last Euros, like 100%. We should have won that. I think we were the better team against France when we got knocked out against France, and I don't want to say
but England being the better team against France is partly due to him, though.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that, like, in terms of we don't want to miss the cycle, innit?
Yeah.
And I think the cycle carries on into the next World Cup. Just looking at the age of the players in the squad, etc. And obviously, it's a lot harder to win the World Cup than the Euros. If we don't win it on Sunday, it'll be very hard to win the World Cup.
And my last thing on that cycle thing, you're right. I think England's cycle has got a long way to go. A lot of the players are young, right? How old Declan Rice? 24, 25 or something?
Yeah.
But it's not just that. It's the other countries, isn't it? Their cycle will come in.
Yeah.
So that's my only thing. England, actually, you say, this is great, etc. The problem is, I don't know who you replace him with, if you want to stay English as well. But is there someone a bit more progressive, someone who uses and Eddie Howe?
No, I'd give it to Carsley.
Yeah, I'll go there as well.
If you look at how England's under 21s play football, it's so different from the senior team. So different.
Yeah.
And a lot of these guys as well.
I don't know about that.
I think it would be seamless, and I don't think you need to get a name
Well,
to
that's
do the job.
basically that's basically how Gareth got the job.
Yeah, but England was in a very different place when Gareth took over.
He's
It was very,
on
very
the 21
different.
team, he weren't good.
Yeah.
So when the
Did-
21
did a
won
job
that
like this.
tournament,
Pardon?
with
they give
Carl
us
Palmer
chance?
and Gordon.
Yeah, he won the Euros last year, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Last summer.
yeah.
So for me, it would be Carsley if Gareth was to go.
Fair. But I guess that's the point. So I'm siding with Keith in the respect of we should get a new. They should probably look at how do you now basically utilize this talent in the way that gets the best out of them, and quite frankly, in the way that the rest of world football is going. So when they go back to their clubs, Saka's going to play a certain way, Bellingham's going to be played a certain way, Gordon's going to be played a certain way, Foden, for goodness sake, going to be played a certain way. So you can't be doing all that and then coming to do this bric-a-brac football that Gareth Southgate's doing. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. But overall, say what you like, but he made changes. The sub he made came on, scored the winner. The other sub assisted, right? Now they're in the final against Spain, another final. I wrote England off a little bit before the Switzerland game. I thought they would beat Holland anyway. And to be honest, I'm not making any predictions for Sunday. I'm just going to watch the game and let it happen because, I don't know, this England team, they just seem to turn up with stuff.
That's a 50-50. That's a 50-50, that game Sunday.
No, I don't think so.
I think it's 50-50.
I've got Spain as favourites, but just how England have got through to the final, if they've won it, I wouldn't be surprised.
If Spain lose that game, they should be disappointed. They should be very disappointed. Not just because it's a final and stuff, but based on how they've played, how England have performed so far, the weapons they've got in their arsenal, etc. They've got weaknesses. Morata's not exactly, so they should be disappointed.
Spain have been by far the best team in the tournament. They've won 6 out of 6.
Yeah,
like they will go into Sunday very confident. I believe.
Oh, I don't know. Because England's got the experience. England's been there. The Spain, a lot of their players are really young. They've not really been there. This is their first kind of tournament. They've got a couple older heads in Rodri, but
they're fearless though, man. You look at Williams.
Olmo.
But at some point they might start feeling the pressure. When it gets late, as the game goes on, I think England will have more of a chance. Early doors, I'm seeing it's going to be Spain. But I reckon if they can keep it tight, I would fancy England more and more as the game goes on.
So talking of Spain, let's rewind a little bit, right, to the other semi-final. The semi-final that is giving me plenty of confidence about how they're gonna play. So Spain beat France 2-1 with unbelievable goal from Lamine Yamal. I mean, the guy's 16, but I don't know what planet he's from. And Daniel Olmo following up with a second.
Did they give him the goal? I know.
They gave it to him. He was on target.
Good.
And yet again, another game where the losers took the lead initially with Colin Muani. Before we go ahead, because someone just talked to me about Colin Muani and what is international quality about him? Like, no disrespect to the player, but I don't. Every time I see him play, I'm like, how do you get in this team?
France lacking just quality overall in
it must be. I'm not having him and Thuram, I'm not having them, bro. I'm not having either of them at all.
Like, Dembele's not setting the world alight.
Oh, don't mention that guy.
Awful. Kingsley Coman's on the bench.
But then, I don't know why they went away from Giroud. That's been working.
I've
won all the tournaments. They're coming away from Giroud. I don't know why. Because that
Giroud, Griezmann off Giroud, Mbappe coming off the left.
Mbappe, that works perfectly for you. I don't know why they're changing it up.
Injury maybe.
No goals.
Injury maybe.
It's a weird one. Deschamps isn't very.
He's sitting on the bench. He was on the bench.
Yeah,
Deschamps is not predictable, isn't it? He likes to mix it up a bit.
Yeah.
France haven't even France didn't play particularly well this tournament either.
No.
So, like
Mbappe.
the goal on Tuesday was their first open play goal in 6 games.
Ridiculous. Absolutely
Like,
ridiculous.
that's mental.
And it's another game where I think Spain largely were the team on the front foot. France came into a little bit later out of desperation, I would say, towards the end. But by and large, it was largely Spain. Rabiot was running around like he didn't know what he was doing. And obviously he made those comments about Lamine Yamal before the game, which came back to haunt him very quickly. And I just think we have to have a chat about Mbappe. I just, to be fair to him, he was very honest and came out and said, I've not been good enough in this tournament, not played very well. I need to go on holiday, reflect and recharge my batteries and come back. But yeah, he's the captain. There was a big hoo-ha because Griezmann expected to be captain. They gave it to him. His first tournament as captain, I believe. Yeah, I think it's his first tournament as captain. He's not performed. That chance where he cut in off the left, that's bread and butter Mbappe far post, even sometimes near post. And he's ballooning it like he's some Sunday league striker. I don't understand. I really don't understand.
I think
he's been a big letdown for them.
And I think he might have created a bit of his own hype narrative, just kind of looking at the Real Madrid move and how that was handled. And he's kind of meant to be the next big thing for France, like to have that Zidane stroke Platini kind of aura about him. And granted, like he's won a World Cup already. That's fantastic, but he wasn't the mainstay in the team of that win. Got to the final of the last World Cup, scored a hat trick, had a fairly good tournament, but since then it's just kind of been, I wouldn't say a downward spiral, but he's just kind of plateaued. Like you haven't seen anything where you say, right, he's going to kick on and take it to the heights that Messi and Ronaldo have done. That might happen once he goes to Real Madrid next season, but I think a lot of his hype is based on stuff that has been done pre kind of 2022.
I think it's that and his Champions League form. He seems to still turn up at the Champions League, I think. But yeah, I agree. And even on the pitch, he's a bit of a diva. He doesn't do the defensive work. He doesn't do the work on the other side of the ball. He's kind of living and exuding. I don't know. Adrian, what do you think?
Yeah, when I looked at the team, and like you said, Keith, when we looked at the performances overall, even though we were talking about some clean sheets for France, I looked at the midfield. I wasn't really convinced by the combination in the midfield. The attacking options for me were very predictable in terms of how they patterns of play going forward. He can hide behind a broken nose and etc. like that. But I just thought the only person for me in France that came out of any kind of positive light was Hernandez, the left back. And after that,
Saliba as well. Oh, you think of that specific game?
I think Saliba done all right. I think fans made a lot more of Saliba. I think the media drove a narrative because those mistakes, a lot of mistakes that he made in the game. I think that there's a narrative at the moment that he's the next Virgil van Dijk and he's the best centre in the world. And there was a lot of mistakes that he made that they didn't really want to acknowledge, but they were just praising that they had a clean sheet and it's due to him being in the back line why they kept the clean sheet. He played all right. He played well, but it wasn't as amazing as an Arsenal fan as they were making out. It was decent, but there was still a lot of errors. Even against Portugal, remember, like we spoke about it, Portugal had a lot of chances to win the game. They just didn't finish them. And some of them were due to Saliba not being in the right position, etc., etc. So I just look at their attacking. They just had no real attacking threat. And that was the issue for me when I looked at France. Their combination up front just didn't complement each other or blend well. And I think there's an issue around legs now, age and legs. That was the real issue here.
Yeah, and I think they, it's like with England, I think they're in a good position to kind of transition. But apparently Deschamps' contract's been extended.
He's going to stay.
Yeah.
They came out quickly and said he's continuing was the word.
And he's been there like 10 years or something now.
Yeah, but he's won a World Cup and a Euro, hasn't he?
Yeah. No, he hasn't won the Euro yet.
He
Because he would have won the double-double with it. if he'd won the Euros.
Oh yeah.
But I think it would have been a good time for Zidane to come in and
Yeah.
just give it a little bit of a refresh.
Does he want the job though? Did Dan want it?
Apparently so. Yeah, apparently so.
I mean,
That's
I
why
think-
he
I
had
think
to
if,
do the club job.
If France calls, he's not saying no. Especially with his history with the national team. So yeah. So look, Spain. I mean, Lamine Yamal, who we talked about, goal and assist, his decision making, his positioning. Rio made a point that I thought was a little bit lazy, but he was like, all the young players, look at him, no step overs, no tricks, etc., etc. I just thought it's specific about this game. There's other games I can show you where he has done a step over to beat a man, etc. But anyway, so it's just amazing to see his maturity in the game, his game decision, and I've always said it's not to compare him to Saka, but I've always said there are probably players who are maybe technically better, etc. But the main cornerstone of I think of Saka's prominence and his and what he's done is his decision making has been top from a very young age, right?
Yeah.
And Yamal is showing a lot of the same. And then Danny Olmo, I mean, that touch and flick for the
stunning.
I mean, talk about not being fearless and not worrying, you're in the semi-final of the Euros. He just said, yeah, it's just instinctive. It's fantastic. So and I think Rodri is enjoying a bit of Foden type hype. Rodri controls the ball, turns around and passes to someone. It's going to be like, oh, Rodri just controlling the game. He's controlling the tempo. And I'm just like, guys, let's relax, yeah? Let's relax. For me, Ruiz has been,
quality.
For absolute quality.
Yeah.
He's turned up. He's taken the opportunity to make a real big name for himself. I think I said to Keep yesterday, I think he's been in a bit of an unsung player at PSG, but yeah.
You know what's funny? These PSG players are balling out this tournament.
Yeah.
And then for
Coutinho.
PSG, like Coutinho was the other guy I'm going to mention, and then for PSG, like nothing's happening. It's quite
now Mbappe is gone. You're going to see Enrique's going to make a team out of them. You'll see.
Yeah,
he said it himself.
potentially.
Like, once he's gone, this will be a different team. So yeah, I think for me that's where Spain are, a real threat. They're very well organized. They're very clear about how they want to play football. Carvajal suspended, which is a big blow. That's a big.
Does he miss the final as well? I thought it was a one game because he got 2 yellows.
I thought it was one game as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he'll be back.
He's going to miss the final.
Because
Okay.
Navas just was a bit shaky.
I was about to say, I saw him playing and I thought, is that his son or something? He's still about. But probably got the oldest and the youngest on the same wing, and that I would say that's an area we would exploit, but that's the left side. That it's not getting exploited by anybody. Trippier is not causing Navas any problems.
I think Shaw might start, because Shaw came on quicker than I expected yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
He came on at half time. So
He did.
Yeah, I think he
don't
might
know how much
start.
trouble Luke Shaw gives Navas, but I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. So predictions for Sunday, boys.
Head says Spain, heart says England.
I'm saying I'm going to make a call. I'm going to go England.
Mm-hmm.
I just think something's in the air for them. I think it's going to go extra time. And England's going to win in extra time. I just think it's just written in the stars for them right now. And even though Spain's going to be intense, I think they just might have to just ride the storm. And so it's going to be extra time, whether it's penalties.
Well, the way you lot are giving so much disclaimer to your prediction. Give a prediction and own it. What's going on?
No, I want England to win, but I think Spain.
Distance. I think England on penalties. I think it's going the full distance.
I'm going Spain. I think Spain are going to win. I would love for England and Saka, Foden, even some people like Kyle Walker. He's not going to play the World Cup in 2 years' time. Surely, what is he? 34 now, or something?
Yeah, no, he won't.
So for this group, for the Gareth Southgate group, I think it will be great. And actually, I think for the England team to finally win something, just get that off their back, man. Like to have won something in recent times. But I've just got this image in my head of Yamal just turning inside of Luke Shaw. Like,
No,
I think Luke Shaw is
Gay
going to
will
be
be
in
there.
problems.
Gay will be there. Gay will be there, man.
Yeah.
Just inside.
I want to
Yeah.
pick up Gay as well, man. I think he's been the
Brilliant.
unsung hero of the England squad.
I think he's been England's player of the tournament so far.
Yeah.
Easy.
I think one of the strikers, one of the attackers will kind of get the praise.
Yeah, Saka will probably get the praise because of his consistency.
Yeah.
Gay.
Gay's
He's
been
going to get it.
tremendous.
I think he will get player of the tournament for England. I think he's just been that consistent in terms of his performance and what he's done.
I don't think they'll give him player of the tournament though. They won't give him. UEFA will
England
give
played the tournament. No, England played the tournament.
England played
So they must, the FA will do something, right? They'll do an England play the tournament, surely.
Yeah, probably.
One thing to watch out for, a big threat that we'll have on Sunday is Saka.
Yeah.
The last game against Netherlands, he was up against Ake. Never does well against him. But who he's going to be up against on Sunday, he rips him apart every game. So watch out for him. Watch out for Saka Sunday.
Just on that Saka point, did you notice that he didn't really try to take on Ake? Like, do you think that was a conscious decision?
He doesn't.
I think so.
Ake is the only defender I've seen to get the better of Saka.
Yeah.
So, and I think they would have.
Sorry, Jay.
No, I was just going to say, and they look at that stuff, right? So they'll be like, it's a bit like the whole the Yamal thing. They would have looked at that and be like, actually, this is not the guy you try to go on the outside of.
Yeah,
don't play a certain way, you do the inside, etc. So I think there would have been instruction there and out of analysis probably.
Yeah, because I don't think Ake kind of locked up Saka or anything yesterday, but I was quite conscious that when he got the ball, it was more kind of a give and go rather than take on kind of thing. And
especially when you consider what he did to the Swiss left back, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He just that brother inside out, bro. Yeah.
And the one time he did get behind, there was no one in the box to put it in the net.
Yeah,
but I just mentally made a note of that. To be fair,
interesting. Yeah, so we've got 3 England wins. Well, 2 England wins, 1 England win on penalties, and I'm on the islands. I'm the realist, basically. That says Spain's going to win.
To be fair, if England win, I win the sweepstakes. So,
Steaming. You're in the final. Days in the final. Well, that's the case. I don't care, and I'm the banker as well. So, you don't have to come and get your money off me. Do you know what I mean? All right. I think that's
where you guys watching it? Just before we go, where you guys got any plans to watch it on Sunday?
Well, I definitely won't be watching it anywhere where they're throwing bear. That's for sure. That's what I will not be doing.
You know what?
In 2 weeks, if they win it.
In the last Euros, I watched every game at home. We played well, and then I went to Jay's house to watch the final, and we lost. So I'm staying at home. I'm staying at home watching it with a boy on Sunday.
Yeah, a couple of people have got like moves booked here and there, so I might step out and watch it. And I think over and above, it'll be a good game. Like any game Spain's involved in, will be a good game.
Yeah.
If Gareth comes with the same energy, it's going to be a good game. So yeah. What about you? Where you going?
I don't know yet, but I will step out. But I don't know. A lot of places are sold out and already.
Yeah, you don't left that plan until late. My friend booked his last week, I think.
Anticipation, isn't it?
Weeks ago.
See? Oh yeah, he's the kind of guy to do that though. He's the kind of guy to He's a listener of this podcast, so he doesn't have talking about him. So yeah. All right, everyone. I think that's it from us for this episode. We'll be back after Sunday to see whose predictions came true. And whether I've got to be careful as I walk the streets because I'm the only one that said Spain would win. So yeah, that's it from us. I will see you next time. Peace.
Peace.